Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. Today it is a 1 vs 1 on Ruins of Saras between our blue Protoss player, Showtime, and up top, our red Protoss player, Huk. And of course, we're going to speed this on up to the 8x mark. About the 2-minute point in the game where everything gets good, and it is a very, very close spawning map. So that means it's going to be a lot of action the majority of the time here. And we will speed this on back down to the usual amount here. And for Showtime here, just pumping out adepts at the moment here. Has them all queued up and ready to go across the way there. And for Huk here, has his mothership core out very, very early. And is going towards his opponent's base right off the bat. So two different strategies here. And Twilight Council coming up for Huk. And now pumping out individual stalkers here. Chrono boosting them to deal with the adepts coming across the map here. And so now ghosted faster a little bit there. And transferring across the map. Stalker's going to spot this here and see those, and I'm sure he's seen them. Indeed, he did. Now going after those adepts, and doesn't really have anything to defend this with. And where is that mothership core of Huk? Looks like it's doing some damage down there. It looks like it went back to base now, and it's going to try and deal with these adepts. And it did overpower one of those pylons there. It looks like for a moment. No, I did not see that. Perhaps. Very confusing. And now Showtime trying to get out of there with this one adept. And is the stalker going to get it before he can actually sort of transfer away there? And it doesn't look like that's the case. Looks like he's going to try and juke him right back to the base there. And good old adepts, good at juking. And there he goes. Now back at the expansion of Huk. And the mothership core now coming on over. Just needs a few hits on these adepts to finish it off. But Adept is a little bit quick, and the mothership core is a little bit slow. Can he get it before it goes off? And no, he could have gotten it, but he went the other way, and the probes finished him off. So not too big of a deal there. Now Dark Shrine up and running, but not very many gateways coming for Huk at the moment. And we'll check the saturation of the expansion here. 13 for Showtime, and just 7 for Huk, so producing a little bit slower. Now pumping out those stalkers. And an observer on the way there for Showtime as well. Twilight Council just now coming up. And has that warp gate going strong. But only one gateway here for Huk at the moment. As a warp gate. And now a warp prism coming in. But the problem I see there is he just doesn't have enough warp gates to really warp much of anything in. Now warping in Dark Templar, so he's going to have 2 Dark Templar that he's going to drop off, and then he's going to warp in once the cooldown is up. And I'm bringing out Immortals to try and deal with those Stalkers, which is a pretty good idea. So he's going to have a very early Immortal. And there he goes, drops off those 2 Dark Templar, now heading towards the enemy base. But there is an Observer right there, though, that is spotting all this. And that overpowered pylon finishes them off very quickly. So that wasn't the greatest. Actually, I don't think it finished them off at all. I think they might have gotten away. Did they get away? I'm not sure. The resources lost so far is 512 to 600. So very even resources lost. Not going to get rid of these blasted unbuildable rocks. Stalker and Immortal there for Huk. Down at the bottom here, Showtime has quite a bit of stalkers going on. And there is a warp gate right here. Little proxy warp gate from Huk. I'm going to get rid of that pylon first there. Shut down that warp gate. No longer going to be able to use that. And up top here, now warping in more gateways. As he is definitely very far behind in terms of gateways. Going to bring out another Immortal here. So he will have 2 Immortals and just 3 stalkers. And Observer on the way there. Blink on the way. And both Blinks about the same in terms of production. Which looks like Showtime's a little bit faster there. And now going to drop off these Dark Templar here. And there they go, blasting away. and get a couple kills, and he's just going to pick them up and move those out of there. Stalker's now moving on out, moving back towards Huk's base. He may be doing a full-on push here, and he really doesn't have too much to defend against this. Has a few Stalkers and those 2 Immortals, and these 2 Immortals should be able to deal with quite a bit of these Stalkers here, and just now has his Warp Gates coming in from these gateways, and a Robotics Bay on the way for Huk as well. So has a bit less Stalkers here. We can go to the Units tab. 12 Stalkers to just 5, but has those 2 Immortals. 1 Immortal now for Showtime. And there goes those pylons overpowered, and overpowered 3 of them. Overcharged, rather, but overpowered either way. Same deal. And even more Stalkers coming out for Showtime here. Showtime Maynarding some of those probes on over to the mineral line, and an Immortal now joins the army of Showtime, but there are 2 for Huk, so we'll see how that works out for him. Meaning he will just have less Stalkers to deal with, so just 1 and 15, 14 there, 2 and 9. And a Disruptor is on the way here for Huk there, just now came out. And producing another one behind that too, so we'll have 2 of them. And now these Stalkers are going to meet each other, going to spot each other, but Huk's going to back out immediately there. Figured that was what was going to happen. Not really going to have to, not going to be able to deal with that amount of Stalkers with just his little bit there. Needs to bring down his Immortals, and now the battle is going to ensue a little bit. And no, looks like Huk just took a little bit of damage, was on the losing end of that for sure. A little bit oversaturated here for the Assimilators, but that won't last very long. Warping in additional Stalkers, and looks like Huk is just testing the water, just trying to see what's going on. Going to bring some around the other side too. And we'll see if he decides to do a drop while this battle is going on. Perhaps do a drop with his Warp Prism. However, there's a Stalker right here to stop that Warp Prism. And now the Disruptor, 1 Disruptor lost immediately, didn't even get the chance. And there he goes, finishes off another one. And Showtime forcing away these little bit of Stalkers here. And it looks like one of those Disruptors from Showtime was lost as well. And right now, it looks like Huk losing way more. 1,000 resources lost to 2,600. And where are those Immortals? A little bit too far back, that is for sure. As these Stalkers here are just taking a lot of unnecessary damage in those little micro engagements that are going on here. As Showtime has way more, so the way more firepower comes out in that split-second engagements that they keep doing. And Huk is losing out on that. 3 Disruptors here for Showtime. And 3 for Huk as well. And now 4 Dark Templars are out on the map. And let's see what he's doing. Oh, he has a Warp Prism, but he's going to run right over this Stalker, so he's going to give himself away. And he's seen that Stalker, and now he's going to back off. But it's just a matter of if Showtime's seen that Warp Prism or not. And this Warp Prism should be able to get around that Stalker on the far left side there. He should be able to get around there. As that Stalker, for some reason, is not on the Xel'Naga Tower. He's trying to be in the middle there to catch that Warp Prism, but if he was on the Xel'Naga Tower, he could see it. And Huk will have to defend his base now. 2 Immortals to 2 Immortals, both in the group here. A little bit more Disruptors for Showtime. Has 5 to 4 and has way more units overall. And lots of Stalkers lost there. That was a big loss. Only 10 Stalkers left for Huk. 35 for Showtime at the moment. 5 total Disruptors as well. Those 2 Immortals. And here come some more Stalkers. What is he even doing with these Stalkers? Bringing them forward and just taking so much unnecessary damage. Now all their shields are gone, or some of their shields are just gone with that little engagement there. And I just don't understand. And he is attacking with these Dark Templars. Looks like he got some kills off with them. But the overcharged pylons finished him off. 2,600 to 6,700. So much lost here for Huk at the moment. And now here comes the Nova, and both of them just completely missed their targets. And now bringing in even more Stalkers, but it's still not even remotely as much as Huk right now. Huk has a third expansion. Or rather, Showtime has a third expansion, and Huk does not. And Huk just simply doesn't have enough units. 17 to 42 Stalkers. And that was a very excellent disruptor play. Just keep it going behind the Stalkers so that when you actually blink back, you blink right onto the disruptor. So that was very, very clever indeed. Now down to 14 Stalkers here for Huk, and he just doesn't have the minerals here to keep up. And I think if he could see the unit tab as I am while playing the game for somehow, he would definitely probably GG right now. As it's just such a different advantage here right now for Showtime. 41 Stalkers to 13, and using those Dark Templars there is reducing the amount of funds he has towards these Stalkers. Stalkers coming in and destroying this expansion that was being brought up, and the Nova there misses again. And I don't think Huk has really connected with any of these disruptors at all. And now going after the mineral line here. And they certainly killed a couple probes at the very least. Although the game could turn around just about immediately if, say, a few of these disruptors landed directly in the middle of this Stalker group. Oh, and all those disruptors. Looks like he lost 2 of them. Huk lost the majority of his army there. So the disruptor play here for Showtime is very, very awesome, but not so much for Huk right now. Huk has to GG out. Hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I'll see you guys next time.